I have a prophetic word based on a dream for a charismatic pastor of a very well-known charismatic church in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. And there was actually two dreams linked together. And actually three. It starts off where I'm volunteering at a mall to be a mall cop for an off-duty cop group, where I'm hearing this off-duty cop talking to his other off-duty cop friend about how much money they can make as mall cops here. The other one wasn't so in on it, but I was like listening to him the whole time, and he was behind me, he was around me, and I was volunteering to move people's stuff around just so I could, because it was like a side hustle. And you know, in the Bible, if you're not aware of it, a security guard is a biblical job description. Actually, it's the watchman. So whenever a watchman is used in the Bible, that's a security guard. That's not a soldier. That's a security guard in the Bible. So security guards are in the Bible, but they're called watchmen. Furthermore, the security guards of the Bible, the watchmen, are prophets, sometimes allegorized as security guards. So sometimes the prophets, okay, are called security guards in figures of speech, because the prophets can see in visions and in dreams dangerous events that are going to happen in the future, or spiritually harmful aspects of people around them that need to be exposed through the gift of discerning of spirits. And so because they can see other things that other people can't see, they might see hell fire and brimstone. And so because they can see these things, sure, they might come off as kind of crazy to others because they can see things the other people can't see. What are you, loco? What are you, loco? You've got all these hallucinations, right? But no, it's the gifts of the Holy Spirit, and they can see things, and so they will cry aloud and spare not, and lift up thy voice like a trumpet, to show the people of Israel their sins. Isaiah 58:1. So that was the first dream I had. Then it came into a second dream where the pastor of this charismatic church in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, his church is not located per se in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's actually kind of a little bit around it in South Carolina a little bit, but he's very well known. If I was to mention his name, you'd know. So anyway, he in the dream he's teaching to his church, and then it gets to the point where he mentions historical events in the Bible, and he says that stuff doesn't matter. All that matters is spiritual experience and miracles. And I said, whoa. I said, let me talk. I want to say something. And for a while he wouldn't let me talk. And I said, no, I want to say something. And he was in my backyard for some reason. I don't know why. I said, there's two ways to look at historical events in the Bible. There's the maximalist view, and then there's the minimalist view. The maximalist view is the faith-based view. Okay, so that would be the view I take. I have the faith-based view of historical events in the Bible. However, it's not going to make my faith any stronger if we go and look at the stable that Jesus was born in. And then he shook his head and he's like, yep, I can see that. However, if I experience the presence of the living Jesus it automatically validates everything in the Bible as true, and so therefore I can believe that the baby Jesus was born in that stable. But then I went to say, but a maximalist is a person who has a faith-based view in the natural things in the Bible, like cities and towns and locations, or kings and names of people like that. But the spiritual side of it has to be revealed by the Holy Spirit. So I said that to him. He agreed with it. Okay, now we're in a third stage of the dream, and he's teaching people in his church, and it's kind of like a house church environment, but there is a projector screen. So he goes on teaching people and teaching, and now he's wearing a beanie. This is an old guy. I mean, he's like in his 70s. He's wearing a beanie. He's an old guy in his 70s. He's got a white beard, but he's wearing a black beanie. It's the most absurd thing. And obviously this probably represents him being seeker sensitive and trying to reach the youth or something like this. Anyway, so he stops for just the briefest moment because he has so many things to teach. He says, well, if anybody has any prophetic words, you can stand up. And then I stood up on the couch and I said, go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature and make disciples of all nations, teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And it was like those words were like burned into my soul. And I had to say them, and I said them loud like that. And it was like I was street preaching by standing up on top of that guy's church couch. And then I sat down. And then the pastor got out his notebook and started writing it down. He was like, interesting. That's an interesting word. Like, I'll have to take that under, advisement. I'll have to take that into consideration. As if it wasn't really that big of a deal, what I just said as a prophetic word. Then he goes on to say this. We have so many subscribers. And then he looks at me and he says, we have so many subscribers and they've all subscribed around specific topics. And we found that, the statistics of our subscribers have come to show us that most of them have subscribed around miracles. They want the miracle teaching. And so we will give that to them because it's mainly about the miracles. And that's what our subscribers want to learn about. And that was the end of the dream. So in other words, he's not going to go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He's not going to make disciples of all nations, teaching them to obey everything Jesus has commanded us. Mark 16:15 NKJV. Matthew 28:19 and 20 NIV. He's not going to do that. Why? Because he's seeker sensitive. He's a seeker sensitive, charismatic pastor relying upon human ingenuity and statistical information to run his religious organization called a church. So he's not even obeying, according to this dream, that's provided that this dream is from the Holy Spirit, and I think it is. He's not even obeying the Great Commission. He is being guided by statistical information from his subscribers, all of which point to a yearning to understand supernatural aspects about miracles. So it's miracles versus the gospel with him. End of message.